hot today. So now that I'm somewhat recovered from my little climb there, hello and welcome to Round Island, Mauritius. I'm so happy I get to show you this place. It's such a beautiful place to be working. I'm so privileged that I get to be here. And I'm really happy that I get the opportunity to make these videos to kind of show you just how beautiful this place really is. So I thought I'd start my very first video by giving you a little tour of the island, or as I like to say, my office tour, because it's a pretty cool office to be working in, not gonna lie. And I'll start by showing you my commute to work. So that is it there. I get to walk up this hill every single day. And there's the field station just over there, you can see the roof of it. So I'm going to take you up to the summit now, and yes, we aren't actually at the top yet. I know it looks like we probably are, but no, we're not. So I'll take you up to the summit and I can show you the whole island from there and give you a little talk about what work we're doing here and a bit of natural history of Round Island. So I'll apologise now for the fact that I'm going to be literally looking like a tomato for most of these videos, because as you can probably see, it's very hot here. It's quite a steep climb, so yeah, I do get hot very quickly, and I go bright red when I'm tired. So yeah, just thought I'd warn you. Whew. Very nearly at the top now, not far to go. So I've finally reached the summit of Round Island, and as you can see, it's quite the climb to get up here, but it's well worth it when you get to the top because the views are just spectacular. So I'm just gonna sit here and chat to you for a minute. So as I mentioned in the last video, I'm here in Mauritius working for the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation as a conservation biologist. And Round Island is managed jointly between the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation and the National Parks and Conservation Service. It was founded as a nature reserve in 1957, and it was around that time when people realised, okay, a lot of the natural habitat in Mauritius has been destroyed over hundreds of years of occupation, and so a lot of national parks were created, including here on Round Island. And since then, people have been working tirelessly to try and restore the habitat here on Round Island, which is incredibly important. There are so many endemic species here that are found nowhere else in the world, not even on mainland Mauritius. And I'll be showing you these species as the weeks go by. And one thing Round Island's famous for is its community of reptiles. Most of the reptiles you find on the island are the last surviving populations in the world. So I'll definitely be showing you those very soon. And Round Island also has a really important seabird community as well. There are 7 species of seabird that actually breed here on Round Island, including the Round Island petrel, which I'll talk to you about in a later video. And some seabirds just wanted to say hello there. So here we are at the Round Island summit, which is marked by this little pole here. And as you can see, the views are pretty spectacular from up here. Welcome to paradise. So from up here you get a pretty good view of the coastline of Mauritius. You can see it's just on the horizon over there. So Round Island's about 20 kilometres from mainland Mauritius, and we arrive here either by helicopter, as you saw, or by boat, which can sometimes be quite a bumpy ride. Yeah, that was quite a fun day. So Round Island is thought to be between 25,000 to 100,000 years old, so it's a lot younger than mainland Mauritius, and it formed as a result of volcanic activity, more specifically a volcanic vent to the east of the island. And if you actually stand on the summit and look towards the east, you can see it kind of looks like a crater. And that's because technically it is one. If you look at a satellite image of Round Island, you can really imagine what this island probably looked like back when it first erupted. But you can very much see it at ground level as well. As you can see behind me, you've got this lovely kind of curved shape in the rock, which would have been the crater. But we think the vent itself was probably a little bit further out to sea, and over time the cliff face has kind of eroded away to form this kind of half volcano almost. So one of the main reasons I absolutely love this part of the island, other than the really beautiful views, is, as you can probably hear behind me, this is a great place to see the seabirds. So we've got lots of shearwaters, lots of tropic birds here, and I love just kind of sitting here, listening to them, watching them. There's so many that fly around here throughout the day. It's really cool to see, and I will show you more footage of it in a later video. I'm planning to do a whole video on like each of the seabirds here on Round, so I think you're really going to love that because it's such a beautiful place here. So I've come around to the other side of the summit now just to very quickly show you the palm savanna, which, as the name suggests, this is where you get all of the different species of palm trees. So you can see all the palm trees stretching out down to the coastline here, and it kind of continues like all the way across the island on either side. The palm savanna makes up quite a big proportion of the island. So to give you a bit more general information about Round Island, it's about 2 kilometres across, and it feels a lot bigger than that sometimes, but it actually is just 2 kilometres. But it does reach a height of 280 metres, so it's quite a trek every day walking up and down it, as you saw earlier. Now, mainland Mauritius is about 20 kilometres away, and during the last ice age, sea levels dropped so much that there was actually a corridor created between Mauritius and Round Island that wildlife could move freely between. Now, this is the part that I find really interesting. Round Island didn't used to be as unique as we see it today. A lot of the wildlife you find here now you used to find on the mainland and other islets around Mauritius. But the only reason that all these populations managed to survive here was basically down to pure sheer luck. And what I mean by that is Round Island was one of the few places in the entire world that was never infested by rats and cats. And as you may know, these are two very devastating predators which were basically aboard pretty much every ship that left Europe back in the day. So they spread across the world like crazy and destroyed a lot of native wildlife on many islands across the world. Fortunately though, they never came to Round Island, so a lot of reptile communities were saved, which ended up getting destroyed completely from the mainland. So thankfully we have been able to preserve those reptiles and start thinking about maybe reintroducing them to other areas of Mauritius. However, it's not all good news, unfortunately. Round Island didn't escape completely unscathed. The giant tortoise populations were wiped out, probably because humans were hunting them for food. And also there were 2 other destructive invasive species that arrived here. Thankfully they weren't as bad as rats and cats, and that's starting to sound weirder every time I say it, rats and cats, probably because it rhymes. Anyway, so the 2 really bad invasive species that made it to Round Island were goats and rabbits, and although they didn't have a really bad effect on the animal population, they had a terrible effect on the plant life that were here. They destroyed a lot of the native flora, and the reason why you can see a lot of bare rock on Round Island is because it made the soil very loose. Because they were eating the vegetation, it was no longer held in place, so it all got eroded away, and now there is so much bare rock everywhere. The soil's not as deep as it used to be. So a lot of the work we do on Round Island is trying to replant a lot of these native plants, native trees back to the island, so we can try and restore the overall habitat of the area. So thank you very much for watching my very first Round Island video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and there is a lot more to come, I assure you. I'll be going into a lot more detail about a lot of the wildlife I talked about today, and I'll also give you a bit more information about the work I do here, but I'll give you a little clue. It has something to do with these guys. Hi guys, say hi to the camera. No, they're a little bit camera shy, but I'll tell you all about them in a future video and what I'm doing with them here on Round Island. So thank you very much for watching my video. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you never miss an exciting episode. And with that, I will see you on my next adventure.